are a startup founder, an innovator, a technologist, or an inspiring entrepreneur, or a person who just wants to learn new concepts and tools in innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let me introduce to you to our moderator for tonight, AIM's very own Professor Rene T. Domingo. He's an adjunct faculty member at the Asian Institute of Management, an international consultant, author, professor, and lecturer in the fields of operations management, total quality management, and turnaround management. Prof. Rene is an industrial engineer with more than 30 years of consulting and training experience, covering manufacturing and service industries. He's also the author of Quality Means Survival, a guide on total quality management published by Prentice Hall. He's also the author of It's the Customer, Your Real Boss, a book on world class banking services, and the book Turnaround Management Best Practices from the Indonesian Experience. Prof. Rene will give us a regional situationer on what is actually happening on ground in the retail industry in particular, especially now that we have a new business landscape forcibly shaped by an unprecedented pandemic. Without further ado, let's give Prof. Rene a virtual warm round of applause. Prof. Rene, over to you.
Good evening. Thank you, Marion. Let me just share my screen. Okay. So welcome to this webinar, and I'm here to briefly share what's going on in the retail economy here and abroad, especially with regards to the ongoing pandemic. Okay, so this will give us a background on how on introduction to the topic of our two speakers. So first, let's go to Philippines retail outlook. This is from several sources. So one is, definitely we will have more shopping online, and this is according to Colliers. There will be more people going shopping online, and this will affect mall space. The other trend is, the rising online businesses. Statistics, according to DTI, we will have about 1 million by the end of this year. Okay, so again, this is a confirmation of the trend. And of course, in terms of services, there'll be more open air dining spaces because people will tend to move into outdoor dining areas because of the pandemic. So that's one set of trends that we should consider if we're going to the retail business. The other one is in terms of particular products and services. This will be for 2021 to 2026. One is, there will be a surge in demand for food and beverages, including vegetables and health drinks. The second one, there will be an increase in demand for personal and household care. And of course, work from home setups such as electronic gadgets and furniture. Because people tend to work from home and stay at home. And of course, because of this, there'll be, again, shift to online distribution channels. So let's go to in Asia in 2020, and this is also a trend to continue in 2021, 2022 is, what happens to discretionary spending? And this is a big factor because it's a big part of the GDP of many countries. So it plummeted very much. And of course, this is the retail industry. And it's still affecting a lot of retail businesses. And, it's 1/5 to 1/4 of many GDP of many countries. So, for example, in China and Indonesia, there's a postponement of buying high-ticket items like cars. So I think this will continue. And of course, same with jewelry and other luxury products. Okay, not only in China and Indonesia, but I think the rest of Asia. Okay, so the other trend, this is perhaps worldwide. It's also will be seen in Asia as well as Philippines. For this year, it will be, of course, physical stores will still be a critical force in retail shopping. Okay, but there will be a need to bridge the gap between online shopping and in-store experiences, because you need both, no, to support the retail industry. The third one is, of course, the impact of social media in the promotion of e-commerce and shopping. So they go hand in hand, no? Social media, retail shopping, and e-commerce. And the fourth trend is, of course, people are very impatient. They want real-time delivery. So you have to support the retail economy with logistics, especially if real-time delivery becomes a new expectation of customers. And last is more curated assortment, lower variety. I think many B2C companies are now reducing their SKUs for economy, and also because of focus marketing. Okay, so these are big trends. So finally, I'd like to share an article that I wrote a few months ago, and I see 10 more mega trends on top of, people going online, right? So because of, people have income losses, there is uncertainty, there are safety hassles. So I see 10 trends, no, that may or may not affect your country or your business. Number one, I think more shoppers will go to convenience shopping rather than bargain shopping. Okay, they will be more purposeful in buying rather than impulse or discretion. Okay, the other one is in terms of face-to-face, in-person shopping, they will tend to shop nearby, no, neighborhood shopping instead of going to downtown or the central business district. Fourthly, instead of mall hopping, people will tend to shop in just one place, no, and try to buy everything under one roof. And instead of regular shopping, daily, weekly, there'll be more infrequent, a very short shopping experience. And of course, there'll be more personal solo shopping rather than group shopping because of social distancing. And they will look for value for money, value for money, availability and convenience. Okay? And of course, there'll be a lot more sellers searching for buyers. The trend will now become buyers searching for sellers online. And there'll be more focus on relationship selling rather than transaction selling. And finally, sellers will have to be more proactive, no, with their beyond the counter selling rather than behind the counter because of so many players in e-commerce. So that's it. I think that will give us some, perspective on what's going on in the retail economy here in our region and abroad, and how this will impact the retail business. Thank you.
Thank you for that short but very insightful presentation about the current state of the retail industry, Prof. Rene. Now we're ready to meet our startup speakers. For this session, we are grateful that two empowered startup founders have accepted our invitation to share their knowledge and insights in running retail-focused startups. Our first session will be led by Ms. Abby Victorino. She's the founder and CEO of GoGenie Solutions Incorporated. With 9 years of experience in the e-commerce industry in the Philippines from pioneers like CashCashPinoy.com, Zalora Philippines, and Voyager Innovations' Paymaya, she launched her own fashion tech startup named Style Genie in 2016, which led her to represent the country as a startup founder at several global accelerator and awards programs. Style Genie is one of the inaugural startups under AIM DBI Think Cohort 2018-2019 program. Since the COVID-19 pandemic began, Abby officially opened an e-commerce agency, GoGenie Solutions Incorporated, with a strong mission in mind: to help retail brands sell more online through smart shopping platforms, namely Grocer Genie Wholesale, Gift Genie Curations, and Only Genie subscriptions. Let us all welcome Miss Abby Victorino of Style Genie and GoGenie Solutions. Over to you, Abby.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Abby.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm using my mobile, so apologies for some delays in my screen sharing. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone's staying safe at home. And I'm very, very excited to share with you my startup journey. So yeah, without further ado, and as well introduced by our host tonight, I'm Abby Victorino. I'm a startup founder, and I've been in the e-commerce industry for more than 9 years now, and it's been such a crazy ride. And I can say, and as I will tell you, my whole story from 2012 to present day, e-commerce is really an exciting industry, and there's really more to come for the Philippine e-commerce scene. So I started with Cash Cash Pinoy, and this was way back 2012 when e-commerce wasn't even a thing yet. There was no Lazada, Zalora in the Philippines at the moment. And there were only flash deals. And you might be familiar with the likes of Metro Deal, Groupon, what else was there, and Sogo, and these were the e-commerce back then. And I can still remember there was no cash on delivery then. There was even cash on pickup. So imagine the yeah, imagine the changes that the times have given e-commerce, and how our online shoppers as well have evolved since then. So after like 2.5 years in Cash Cash Pinoy, I moved to Zalora, which was pretty much what I really love doing because it's related to fashion. So I was an international fashion buyer there, meaning I import brands and sell it online to the Philippine consumers or the Filipino online shoppers. So it was really fun. It was cut short though because I moved to Voyager, where I was sort of redirected to a different field, which is fintech and digital commerce. So I was part of the team who launched PayMaya way back 2015, 2016. And back then, again, fintech wasn't embraced yet by Filipinos. It was introduced as a beep card. If you are using MRT, you might be familiar with the beep cards that you have to use, top up. And that's how PayMaya started back then. And as you know, 2022, fast forward, a lot of people are relying on PayMaya, GCash, and now GrabPay, ShopeePay, etc. So it's really, really exciting. So a little bit backward, as our host mentioned, and I'm very happy because even AIM acknowledged me as a startup founder when I started Style Genie. So Style Genie is my first baby. I launched it in 2016, and it was a styling subscription service and its mission is to basically shop for our customers. So what we do is we get our customer style profile from the website, and then depending on their budget, they avail a style box, which will then be curated by a professional or a celebrity stylist for them, complete with notes, new clothes and accessories that they receive from the comforts of their homes for them to try on, and of course, try it on and wear on their special occasion. So it was a really fun ride. I think I have some slides to show as well later on in a few minutes. And this first startup was my first business, and the concept of startup back then, it wasn't really celebrated yet because like nobody really knows what is a startup, what do you mean by innovation, innovative, but luckily enough, Voyager was very encouraging for their employees to actually start their own innovative concepts, and that's why that's why I was able to launch it while I was keeping my day job. And fast forward, after 2 years, I got recognized by Alibaba. So they flew me to China to share as well what the startup scene is like in the Philippines. But most of all, we were there for 2 weeks and even met Jack Ma. So we were there because they wanted to teach young entrepreneurs from all over Southeast Asia and the Pacific to share how Alibaba changed the China economy. So it was really humbling. It was really inspiring because we basically saw what's possible, what startups can do, what innovation can do for a country. And that's why I'm here. Basically, I'm sharing my story, not to brag about my startup story, because it's not really something, all fame and limelight. It's really, really difficult to be a founder. I'm sure my panelists can relate to that. But it's because we're doing this for positive changes in our economy, for the hopes that many more entrepreneurs will do it as well, or will try and launch their own startup or innovative concepts as well. And yeah, more than the recognition, more than the profits, it's really the help that these startups like us can do for the customers and the sellers that we're serving. So yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so this was Style Genie. It was your personal stylist in just a few clicks. It's currently on hiatus, and as you all know, that's because it was considered a non-essential on the height of the pandemic during April 2020. And that's why we gave birth to our second Genie, which I will share more about in a few minutes also. Sorry if I'm speaking too fast. Please comment or chat if you have any questions. Next slide, please. So yeah, the business model was simple. We gathered expert stylists, which are also from my network because of the fashion industry that I've been working with for a long time. And we opened a simple website, a very simple. I remember it was even a WordPress site. It was so ugly back then when we launched, but hey, you have to launch and just explain what you're trying to do and then improve from there, right? So yeah, we launch it. We get up to 50% margin because these are stocks from the brands that are flush out or excess inventory from 1 or 2 seasons past. And we helped a lot of brands as well flush out their excess inventory, and at the same time give jobs to the professional stylists outside their usual celebrity work or outside their non-peak hours or days of styling. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are the brands that we help. Most of them you will be familiar because they're from Instagram, and some, of course, they're also available in the malls. And everyone there that are included in the curation, they were appreciative because at least they don't have to put their sale items in the the merchandise display in the malls, or they don't have to cut the prices in their online stores. So basically they gave us their excess inventory, and it's up for grabs for the stylist to handpick each of those excess inventory for the specific style profiles or the specific needs of our customers. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are just a few influencers. We worked with a lot of them, and they were very, very helpful for us gaining traction because, as you know, startups don't really have a big budget, but working with influencers, content creators, especially those who are in the same category or industry, which is fashion, really helped us gain traction, gain this brand recall that I can get styled as well. I saw this celebrity opening a box, or the box became the box even became iconic. Like I saw a box, I saw your box somewhere on someone's picture, something like that. So for us, even the box, the packaging is part of our branding. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we have celebrities posting about us. Next slide, please. We even made commercials for our when we launched the styling for men. So yes, if you can relate to the styling problem, please let me know. Maybe we can bring it back sometime in the future. Yeah, next slide, please. So back to the pandemic. So it's been almost 2 years. Almost 2 years now, right? Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world. And of course, when this happened, it was really difficult for us to navigate. Like, what are we going to do with the stylists we have? What are we going to do with the riders that we have? The stocks, there's not really much to do because these are excess inventory anyway. But we went back to our reason, to our purpose. And fashion or not, our purpose for um, making e-commerce platforms is really to help the brands sell more. And we thought, what is the number one need and at this moment? So coincidentally, my colleague from the university messaged me and said, "Hey, what do you think is?" And asked me the same question. What do you think is the as a good business, as a good opportunity at this moment? And there's the pandemic, there's ECQ, and nobody can go out and even go to work. So yeah, and I said maybe groceries. And at that point, I was actually helping some brands create their Shopify stores. So at that point, I really thought he was just asking me to create a website for him. But fast forward, he said, please operate it. We launched 5 days later. And yeah, it just, the rest is, as they say, is history. It was ECQ anyway. So I remember it was crazy because we don't even know how we will deliver that much groceries, because it was different from clothes, right? But I remember the first 10 days we had like 100 orders already. And yeah, the orders came in before we even thought how to operate in a pandemic. So funny story. I can still remember going to the malls myself, booking Lalamove because I don't even drive. So it was really fun. It was exciting. It was also a life, it was also us risking our lives, but very, very rewarding, because when you see the look on the faces of the riders that you gave jobs to, and the customers that also was relieved because they don't have to go out. Yeah. So and when we experienced GCQ, we noticed that again, we are a startup after all, and AECQ may have been a good opportunity for us to start or launch, but it's not sustainable if you don't have a huge funding like the Lazadas, the Grabs, right? So it was a challenge for a startup because what do we do now? It's not ECQ. The demand basically went down because people can start going out again. And what we realized though was that even though our B2C customers did not fly like we expected, there were a huge influx of B2B inquiries, or the HRs that or HRs or business owners who wanted to buy from us on our website. So that's what happened. So what happened was we launched we relaunched Grocer Genie as a wholesale concept instead, and now it's can we skip to the next slide? Yeah, I wanted to show so we went on to being a wholesale marketplace for all home and business essentials, because we did have a lot of direct suppliers, and we realized they even also needed us. So Century Tuna Company, Unilever, Colgate Palmolive, they were even approaching us and saying, we need a place to sell wholesale. We need to list our products on your marketplace. Wherein I remember 5 years ago, even though we explained to them many times, they wouldn't list our products with us. So the pandemic really helped us gain momentum for the supply side. And yeah, so we had the suppliers, we had the business customers, and that's why we pivoted to becoming a wholesale marketplace. And yes, slide next slide, please. Yeah. So we have over 7,000 household and office essentials on our platform. And the beauty of the online is that compared to the traditional procurement, they don't need to go through a lot of, procurement processes, accreditations, and they are sure that they will receive official receipts, stuff like that, that otherwise will be really tedious if it's done manually or offline traditionally pre-pandemic. So, and last but not the least, of course, we deliver all over the Philippines, and they even enjoy free shipping at the minimum purchase. Next slide, please. Yeah, so 7,000 brands, more than 15. I actually lost count already. This was our slide last year, but now we even have Korean products, Spanish products, Indian products. So we just keep onboarding imported goods and even local goods in our platform, as long as they have a wholesale price, or as long as they're interested to sell wholesale to our market. Next slide, please. Yeah, so going to the B2B side. So since this is wholesale, and if you're familiar with the community pantries, ayudas, so if you have received ayudas, right? So you might be wondering who are packing those, who are repacking those, right? So it was a blessing in disguise that we pivoted to wholesale, because from then on we had B2B or HRs and procurement officers, even schools, hospitals, and LGUs who asked for our help to repack as well. So yeah, next slide, please. That gave birth to Gift Genie. So I keep giving birth to genies. So Gift Genie is basically just to avoid the confusion, like who is Grocer Genie, who is Gift Genie, because we wanted to keep Grocer Genie to groceries, and for Gift Genie we wanted to expand to other items, not just bundles of groceries. And it was launched in November, but our bread and butter really is the Christmas basket. And we have so far delivered more than 50,000 gifts in the past 2 Christmases. So for us, it's really an overwhelming amount, because these are coming from either mini projects or big cooperatives and big BPOs or LGU. So yeah, next slide, please. So these are the samples of our gifts. We even do Zoom party boxes, yeah, healthcare kits, fruit baskets, Halloween treats, and even the usual ayudas. Next slide, please. For Gift Genie, the value is really solving the problem of how are we going to deliver this to our recipients. And as you know, HRs are not really logistics people, or it's not part of their job scope to deliver to like 5,000 employees. So they commissioned us to help them send to multiple addresses nationwide. And we're kind of like their concierge. We bundle their gifts. We after we create the gifts, we repack it, then sort their orders or route the addresses, and then deliver it before their event or in time for Christmas. So yeah, that's the value that we give, and that's, I guess, that's the problem that we are solving for our gift senders. Next slide, please. Yeah. So last November, we made it into a platform, because before they were just sending us emails like, "Can you help us send to multiple addresses? Here are the addresses." So we made it to a website, and now you can book that online as well at giftgenie.ph. You can send to multiple addresses in one checkout and use, of course, all the available payment options online. So yeah, I hope you get to try it as well anytime soon if you're going to send gifts to your friends or your team. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so these are just a few samples, a few photos. This was the first Christmas, I think. Yeah, and aside from gifts, we also do typhoon relief operations or typhoon relief packs. Next slide, please. And last but not the least, we're launching this next month. This is our latest. It's still on beta mode, so it's not yet in public. But OnlyGenie.ph is basically subscriptions website. It's a members only website for retail subscription or those that can be refillable or recurring. So as you can see, there's a pattern. So most of the websites or the genies that we launch are not your usual by what you see on the platform. So if Grocery Genie is wholesale, Gift Genie is curated, then Only Genie is subscription. So we wanted to create smart shopping experiences for the shoppers as well, because for wholesale you save a lot on discounts. For Gift Genie, you save a lot on time and effort. And for Only Genie, you save a lot on time, money, and effort. So it's probably also because of my frustration, because Style Genie basically was supposed to be a subscription, but it wasn't, because it wasn't, the payment gateways aren't ready. But yeah, for those who are interested to do subscriptions for their products, maybe you have an essential, then yeah, I think this is the perfect time to start, because everyone is using online payments now. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we will start on this March, and you're the first few people who will see this. So Only Genie will start with a few products. We have pet food on refill or auto refill. We have mineral water, auto refill or auto scheduled for delivery to your houses. Organic eggs, and of course rice. And as you notice, these are usually the hard to deliver items. Like could be heavy, could be, easily breakable, or really a hassle to bring, even if you can buy it basically at every time you go to the mall, right? So yeah, I'm really excited about this. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the value here is that for the business side, if you are one of our sellers, then of course, if you're a member, of course, you save on the money, you save on the loyalty, you get the perks, and it's away from your mind, right? Because it's automatically delivered. But for the businesses, it's actually more efficient for all the suppliers that we have, because they at least can forecast how much to deliver. They know and can project as well how much sales they're going to get from the members. And operationally, it's also rewarding for our riders, because instead of waiting for gigs like, will we have enough bookings today? Will we have enough rides or deliveries today? At least they know for sure that because of the members, the deliveries are automated, or the deliveries are pre-scheduled. So yeah, next slide, please. I think these are just I have a few slides na lang. Yeah, so our mission is to help retail brands sell more online through our unique platforms, and distribute their goods through these smart shopping experiences, and hopefully reflect also on how our customers receive our deliveries, and in the future have more smart shoppers in the Philippines, right? Enjoying wholesale discounts, curated bundles, and loyalty subscriptions. So yeah, that's our mission. And next slide, last slide. Last slide. So yeah, so Go Genie, we're all about a whole new world of retail distribution. And as the founder, this is my mission. This is my gift to the Philippines. And I really hope that you can support our startups as well, and other startups that are also doing their own projects, their own innovative concepts. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for the time. I think I spent too much time. Thank you.
Thanks, Abby, for giving us genies who will not limit our wishes to 3. And belated happy birthday to the mother of genies,
Thank
Abby.
you.
Happy birthday once again.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. I'm pretty sure our attendees have some questions for Abby regarding Style Genie and Go Genie, but let's save them for later. Again, you may send your questions to our chat box, and our hardworking organizers will read them during the plenary and Q&A later. I won't make you guys wait any longer. For our next speaker, let me introduce Mr. Neptune Factor, founder and CEO of Easy Fulfill, a global e-commerce management platform currently powering more than 150 local MSMEs, helping them in the expansion path towards engaging international marketplaces such as Amazon and eBay. He led the country management team in Easy Fulfill's launch in 2018, as well as its overall product strategy and scale roadmap. In the same year, Easy Fulfill was hailed as one of the 6 national winners of the Idea Space Startup Competition, a PLDT Group-backed initiative, before being selected as part of the AIM DBI Think Cohort 2019-2020 program. So without further ado, let us all welcome Mr. Neptune Factor of Easy Fulfill. Neptune, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Marian. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, everyone. How are you guys? I know it's still pandemic, but I think the situation is getting better. For this presentation, will be answering 2 questions. One is, can the Philippines, as always been an import country, can we produce more for exports? And second question is, even if we produce, can we sell them, right? Can we be competitive in the export industry? So prior to pandemic, we already know this, that we have Philippines have very low engagement in export, less than 10%, in e-commerce as well. So when the pandemic happened, it was not a surprise for us that 2/3 closed temporarily. And why is that? Because for the Philippine MSMEs, for small businesses, we're focused on the local market. And the way we sell is through a physical channel. And that is not lack of trying. I know everyone that I talk to really want to do export. It's just too complicated. You have so many entities that to talk to. For example, if you want to sell in the US, the traditional way is you join a trade mission, you go there, and it's not free. There will be subsidies from the government, but you also shoulder some of the cost. And if you're lucky to have a seller, a buyer, you go home. The problem is, how do I send it to them, right? So there's so many complications for an MSME, and our MSMEs doesn't want to start because of those complications. So Easy Fulfill came up with what we call an export playbook. One of our mistakes previously, one of our biggest mistakes is that when we started Easy Fulfill, we wanted to onboard everyone, right? So, hey, I'm interested in your service, and we take them even if they're not ready. I still remember one of the questions by Prim Paipon, the executive director of AIM Dado Banatao Incubator, when we're applying for the incubator. He asked us, "What's your criteria of choosing?" And we were like, "We don't have." So that's the first thing that we try to fix. One is, not everyone will be at the same level. So we start first at finding Filipino products that have potential, that have export quality. Make sure that they're export ready. So that's the first step. So once they're ready, we'll go to the next level, which is market testing. So if you're a company, you want to expand, it's very expensive to do market research. There are companies you're gonna spend 1,000 just to test your product. So what's the best way to do that? You use e-commerce. So for Easy Fulfill, the way to test that is we sell this to international marketplaces. Filipino product, we sell it at Amazon and eBay, because that's the fastest and cheapest way of testing. What we're doing there is we wanted to understand what's the demand and the price for that product. We have subsidy from the government, and we also help them with the export requirements. Once we determine, okay, this product will sell, we'll now help them scale through online and offline channels. We're also working with DTI to have a dedicated section in Amazon. We also want to target traditional retailers like Target, Walmart. Our belief is that once you're successful online, we can easily sell our products to these traditional retailers. And we'll start to expand to other countries. Right now, Easy Fulfill is in the US, but we're now testing Singapore, we're testing Canada, we're also going to Japan, Australia this year. So what is Easy Fulfill? Easy Fulfill is a platform that integrates everything, right? So instead of you talking to these entities, just one na lang, si Easy Fulfill. So if you're a brand owner, you're gonna talk to Easy Fulfill and everything that you need from data analytics, logistics, marketing, payments. It's all on our platform. So if you're a brand owner, Easy Fulfill, and your marketplace. For this, it's Amazon. And what are our advantages? Why Easy Fulfill? We're the shortest path to export. I don't think anyone can claim that, okay, in 1 to 2 months, we can already sell your product in Amazon. That's basically export already. We're also doing database approach in terms of identifying your market, your price point. And the beauty is that you will be only selling retail quantity, right? So if you're imagining export, what's on your mind is a big quantity, right? Container load of products. But our MSMEs don't have that, right? So they only have a small amount of inventory that they can try, okay, export. And we can lower the shipping cost by consolidating. So when we send products to, for example, to the US, we consolidate them. So we lower the price. And it doesn't stop with Amazon. Based from our research, there's a specific marketplace that is dominant in a certain market region. For the Philippines, that's Lazada and Shopee, right? But if you go outside, there's no Lazada and Shopee. If you go to Japan, that's Rakuten. If you go to India, that's Flipkart. If you go to Latin America, that's Mercado Libre. So if you're an MSME, do you have to learn everything? It's very hard, right? So we're removing those challenges. So for Easy Fulfill, you upload just once on our platform, and we can replicate this to each marketplace that we will open. And all the complication in terms of customs, requirements, everything, documentation, we will handle that. And of course, our initial markets are those that have high concentration of our Filipino workers, because they're the one who are our best customers of the Filipino products. And we launched our platform February 2020, just before pandemic. It was a really hard time. We were just lucky that we're able to pitch to DTI and partner with us. So because we partner with DTI Export Marketing Bureau, what they usually do is trade missions, right? They bring Filipino products, Filipino entrepreneurs to other countries and promote. But because there's no travel, they cannot promote, right? So they partnered with Easy Fulfill, and we were able to sell and promote Filipino products. And because of that, Secmon Lopez mentioned Easy Fulfill in one of the events last 2020. So now, the question now, so these are the products that we're able to sell. As you can see, this is turmeric tea. You can see it in the local stores, but you'll see that the price is really high, $18. That's almost 1,000, right? You can buy it at 150 pesos here. So from our data, you can sell a Filipino product 3 to 5 times in the international market. You will also see a cookbook. This became #1 in Amazon. $36. We're trying to lower this down, but it's still selling really well. We also have mushroom chips. We also have coffee. Coffee and tea, I think, are one of our sort of underdog products from the Philippines, especially this one, the Barako coffee. Funny thing is that this product, we're still shipping them, but we're already seeing sales in Amazon while in transit. That's how popular the product is. The challenge for Philippines really is how we can produce more and how we can send more. So this is another T. And then this one, I really like this, is bread. There's so many breads in the US. But this is something unique for the Philippines, right? We have a lot, like bizcocho, rosquillos, and anything that's really, really unique. We really love those because we can sell them at a premium, and it's not every day that they can see these products. So I'll go now to my first question, right? Can we produce more? So I'll give you this theory for those business students, this economic complexity theory. So the more complex the products of a country, the more the economy is, the higher the economy of the country is. And you can see that here in the Philippines, right? There are a lot of Korean store, Japan store, because they produce more products. But Filipinos, there are none, right? If you go to the US, there are Asian store. Yes, you can see Filipino there, Filipino products, but it's very limited, right? Like Pancit Canton, Patis, Century Tuna. It's very, very limited set of products. But I do believe we do have. So I'll give you an example so to inspire aspiring entrepreneurs that we do have. We can be competitive. We have unique products. We need to develop them. So one example is the Philippine cinnamon 3, right? When I first heard this last 2020, I was surprised. I didn't know that we have a Philippine cinnamon, Philippine variant, right? And I thought at first a cinnamon is a root crop. No, it's a tree. So I met someone. She's from AIM as well. She's planting Philippine cinnamon trees in Bacolod. So I think she's trying to plant around 10,000 trees to really produce more cinnamon. Because she's from Bacolod, the first product that she thought of course, is cinnamon sugar, right? There's a lot of sugar there. So that's the perfect, that's the first product that she thought of. When we told her, there are other products that you can produce. When we showed her the data, you can produce cinnamon oil. You can produce just a cinnamon stick, even cinnamon capsule, even cinnamon tea. And these are higher value products. So the price is our premium. So we told her, yes, you can have cinnamon sugar, but you can produce more high value products. And we have a lot of these products. If you go to the Bicol region, there are pili nuts, right? And it's endemic in the Philippines. You can only see in the Philippines. If you go to Palawan, there is a lot of cashew nuts there. So we have a lot of those. So we can produce more and more variety. So for Easy Fulfill, how we can help? Our approach is we're calling the Export Pinoy program. What we found out is that when you're building a startup, it's not just about technology. You have to really handhold our customer, especially our business owners. This is the first time that they're gonna be seeing a software. So it doesn't make sense just to show them the software, right? Technology. So you have to have high touch in terms of approach for them. And our inspiration here is our Tawa village, which Abby was lucky enough to witness this, that really Alibaba transformed provinces and find goods, services, products that they can really sell up, not just in China, but outside of China. And we're lucky enough that we've been selected by the UST for the grant so that we can develop our technology. So what's the Export Pinoy program? First is we wanted to find locally developed but high export potential. So they're not yet direct, but they have high export potential based on our data, based on market research. And we will partnering that with regional DTI, Department of Tourism, and other local business chambers. So that's for companies' products that have potential. But what about those that are already ready, that are they're already exporting, they're already selling, but they don't have the platform? We have a fast track program for those export ready companies. through the DTI Export Marketing Bureau, which I will discuss later. So we will piloting this in Cagayan de Oro and Legazpi through the local chambers. And our goal is to support 10,000 MSMEs. I know it's very ambitious, but we do believe we can. Right now, we have around 4,000 registered exporters only. Imagine that. Out of the 1 million MSM, 1 million businesses, we only have around 4,000. And some of them are not product-based. Some of them are services. So if we can at least bring it up, just onboard 3,000, we will already be successful. But we'll be ambitious today. So we're going to be hopefully on board 10,000 MSMs. So the components of the program, of course, we have the incubation, acceleration, but most importantly is the community. And I think that's also what I bred in the Taobao Village. It's really a community, right? So they're developing together when they're sending products, because it's cheaper if you're doing it as a community. So how do we do it? So we're developing the EC Expert tool as an assessment tool for an MSME. We wanted to know what are those that have high potential. So if they goes to the incubation program, and then if they're export ready, they go directly to the fast track program. From our data, we can see that 10% will only be export ready. The bulk really will be coming from those high export potential. So for the incubation program, they have to go through a lot of steps, depending on their sort of lacking on their business. Is it FDA registration? If they have food, they have problem with their packaging, right? So if you're doing export, it should be 12 months and up for the shelf life, right? So do they need in terms of production? So all of this, they have to go through so that they'll be export ready. The good thing about this is that there are already existing programs by the government. For example, product packaging. Do you know that there's a DTI Design Center? It's free. You can go there, can ask for a redesign. But the challenge is, why are people not going there, right? And this is something that we wanted to fix for a fast track program. What we notice is that, especially during pandemic, if you invite them, hey, we have another program, we have another webinar. From a business perspective, they have a lot of things in mind, and you want me to go to a webinar and listen and spend my 1 hour and have so many things, right? So there's no incentive for them to go through this program. For EC Fulfill, we're giving them an incentive, which is our fast track program. Look at this as a carrot for this program, which is the DTI EMB Road to Amazon project. So we envision this is that it's a highly curated page in Amazon. So if you want to search for Filipino products that highly curated, you go to Amazon, which is a dedicated space for Filipino products. We're modeling this after Made in Italy. So if you have time after this webinar, go to Google, type in Made in Italy Amazon. You'll be able to see this. This is a specific page just for Made in Italy. And we want this to replicate for the Philippines. We want our top products to be featured there so that customers from other countries will be able to order. And this is not just in the US, but they're replicating this in Germany, in Japan. So this is what we will do as well. First, we'll do the Made in the Philippines in the US, and we'll start expanding that. So what's the process? So first is, we have the expert playbook, right? So we identify, we have to test, and then we scale. Similar to that. We're gonna identify, we already identified 75 brands. These are the top selling products we're proud of. Some are small business, some are conglomerates that will be sold in a DTI Select store, official store of DTI. Once they reach a certain metric, they will be eligible to have their own store. And once we have a certain number of stores, a certain number of sales and products in Amazon, we will now have that. DTI will now apply in Amazon. Hey, you can now give us the official storefront. So now the question, my second question is, you already, guys, government, Easy Fulfill have given support to our MSMEs. So we will give them everything from marketing, everything. But my second question is, will it sell, right? Can we be competitive? Right? That's always, as a founder, I have those self-awareness moments where I have to question what we're doing. Even if we give them the support, because government will provide subsidies as well in terms of logistics so that our products will be competitive. But will it sell? So I'll show you an example of product. Unfortunately, this is not a Filipino brand, but this is a Filipino product. This is the #1 coconut cooking oil in Amazon. So again, if you have time, go to Amazon. Once you're in Amazon.com, search there, coconut cooking oil, and you will see this brand. As you can see, the ratings is 7,500, meaning a lot of people are really buying, and this sells thousands of bottles every month. But you can see, if you go down to that page, you will see on the description that it's coming from the Philippines. This is produced by the Philippines. I actually know the company that produces this. So meaning we do have products. It's the same product. I saw the actual product with a different brand name. But they're just changing the brand, and it's already selling well. So if we give our Filipino MSMEs the opportunity, the access, all the support, and of course our business professional from marketing, from operational management, I do believe that yes, we can sell. We can be #1 in these countries. And if you have time, you can also go search Pili Nuts. There's also a #1 there that's sourcing from Bicol, but it's a foreign brand. So it's an opportunity really for the Philippines. So this is where I will end my presentation. Is that I have 2 requests. One is, once we launch our road to Amazon, is that if you help us promote, help us buy those products. And the second request that I have is that when you do, I know a lot of you are trying to think of new products to sell or new business to create. I want you to look back again on the complexity index that I showed you earlier. I know a lot of you wanted to do technology applications. I know that's sexy. If you want to do that, yes. But I know that there's another side of innovation, which are product-based. We have a lot of products in the Philippines, especially in the countryside, that really need help in terms of innovation. And DOST has a support for that. The one that I showed you about the cinnamon tree, she's part of a grant that was just been given last month. So there's a lot of support, especially from the government, to create new products. So that's my challenge for you, to create more products so that we can be competitive in the export market. And once you're ready, you can talk to Easy Fulfill and we can help you go global. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neptune, for sharing your success story and how it impacted a lot of our local enterprises. And we hope that you have inspired our attendees here in pursuing an MSME with Philippine branding. Now it's time for some Q&A with our speakers, Ms. Abby and Mr. Neptune, and our situationer, Prof. Rene. Due to the interest of time, we will be allotting 10 minutes for you guys to share your thoughts and ask questions to them. Please type in your questions in the chat box and we will read them for you. Our first question sent via the chat box would be, I think this is addressed to Abby and Neptune. How did you come up with these business ideas, po? And how do you think should an 18-year-old start? I think let's start with Abby, ladies first.
how did I come up with the ideas? Different story for each genie, I guess. Style Genie was made out of passion or born out of passion. I really wanted to do something fashion related, but also sort of unique. And it was, but all of the genies are the same in the sense that these are problems, real problems that I myself and through research, most of the consumers have also or also are encountering on a daily basis. Like for Style Genie, for example, if you are like most of us girls who have a lot of clothes in the closet, but when we open the closet, what am I gonna wear, right? So it's a common problem, and I guess we wanted to. Um, share the experience of having a professional stylist pick clothes for you, because it's not just for celebrities, it's not just for VIPs, but it's really something that everyone else can enjoy. So that's for Style Genie. And then the rest is also a problem because, as you know, Grocer Genie was born out of the frustrations of everyone. If you remember during ECQ, we had to line up for 4 hours just to go inside the supermarket, not even to shop. We have to stay in the queue for 40, sometimes 6 hours, and then when you get there, you just shop for 30 to 6. It depends on what you're gonna buy. But yeah, it was a real problem, and it was a risk for health, right? So. And then gift, it was a major problem for our HRs and our procurement officers because they do have the money, they do have the requirement, but they don't know how to send all these gifts or all these engagement items to their employees who are scattered nationwide because everyone's working from home. So yeah, a lot of these are from the problems, and like most of our mentors and even in AIM have taught us, it's really to start with a real problem and how you can solve it, how your idea, how your product will help solve that problem. So you don't have to start from scratch. You can start with your own needs or everyone else's frustrations or needs. This, as you know, in the Philippines, there's a lot, and I guess that's a positive thing for business owners in the Philippines. There's still a lot of problems to solve, and that's why a lot of foreign startups are going here, right? So why not support the Filipinos who have their own startups, and why not start your own if you think that you have this solution? That's that's how we come up with these ideas. I
Thank you,
hope I
Abby.
answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you, Abby. Next, Neptune.
Yeah, for me, it started with an inconvenience. Abby is correct on that. I found a soap, a whitening soap, and I wanted to sell that in Amazon. I was able to buy it 50 pesos here, and I can sell it at 500. Imagine that, 500 pesos in Amazon. And when I was trying to sell that, that's where the problem started. I experienced firsthand how hard it is to sell outside of the Philippines. And initially, our business model is that we're just teaching other people how to do it, how to sell in Amazon. But it's actually our customer who really gave us the idea for Easy Fulfill. After teaching them, they told us, hey, why not I pay you and then you help us sell. And that's where Easy Fulfill came. It has been a long way. We've been doing this for more than 3 years already. So there's a lot of changes already, but it's still the same. I think Abby is correct on that. We should always go to our whys, right? Our partner, our co-founder, we always believe in the Filipino products. Whatever the changes on our model, it's still the same. We wanted to help, we wanted to promote Filipino products.
Thank you, Abby and Neptune. Next, we have a question from Shannon Rose de la Cruz. This is for Neptune. Does your business cater to retail groceries or online only?
Well, what do you mean by retail? I think what I'm getting is that if we're selling also in Asian stores, for example, in other countries, right now we don't have that. We're using online platform for now because that's the easiest. So we're selling in Amazon, we're selling in eBay. But yes, eventually we wanted to target those distributors as well. So we know there's a lot of really interest for Filipino products, right? So our adobo, our lumpia, there's a lot of interest on our Filipino cuisine, and and they would need ingredients for that, right? So so we wanted to also target retailers, but for now it's still online first because that's the easiest that we can sell. But eventually, yes, we will go there.
Thank you, Neptune. This one is addressed to Abby. I am interested with your business model. Do you offer partnership in other regions like in Visayas and Mindanao, like the Grocer Genie?
Yes, we actually do have customers who are wholesalers in Cebu and Davao. We also have Iloilo, if I'm not mistaken. So most of these there are hard to find grocery items that they want to sell in their provinces. So we're okay with that, and of course, and vice versa as well. So there are also items like what Neptune is doing, although for exporting, we also do want to create this wholesale or B2B business to business transactions within the Philippines. So and there are interests in those products. Like for example, we have so sometimes have requests for buko. Yeah, so those goods we are still looking for suppliers. Some items also like what you mentioned, pili. Baka dapat we should talk. We should talk pala, no? Neptune. So yeah, so things like that. We do have these random requests, or the benefit of having the online platform is people do use the search button, and we have these search keywords like durian, for example. So these items for sure we can only get mostly from Visayas and Mindanao. So yeah, we are very much open to that. We also have a lot kasi imports for example, they're in Davao, they're in Cebu, but they're looking for Korean goods that are usually imported to Manila or Batangas port. So we also do cater to those kinds of business requests.
Thanks, Abby. Next question. Does Easy Fulfill also provide angel fund for startups that qualify their onboarding process?
I wish we have a lot of money like that. But the beauty about what we're doing is we're partnering with government that can provide this assistance, and there are money from the government that you can apply. So the challenge now is where to find them, right? It's if you don't know where to search, you'll not be able to find them. So we still don't have that platform yet, but eventually we will have that platform where we will guide you on where to ask for financing. So I'll give you an example. The UST has a sort of a fund wherein if you want to do a prototyping, so you have a product that you want and it has potential and you want to do a prototype, I think they can give you around 100,000 pesos, and that's a grant already. So so there are already institution, government agencies that provide those subsidies. So we're just funneling, getting them from this institution. But yes, eventually, I hope we can guide you on that.
Thanks, Neptune. Again, due to the interest of time, we'll be moving on to just one more question. This is for Abby. What are the major challenges you handled in implementing your marketing strategies upon shifting to online platform?
Major challenges. So I guess there's pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. Pre-pandemic, there was a lot of problems with the payment. As you know, COD is really the number one payment option before the pandemic, and it was difficult for us because we're selling services, right? Styling is not really something that you can return, and I mean, if people cancel, so it was a challenge for us. So yeah, I think that was the major challenge. It's really more on the payment options, and as you know, subscription payment gateway is not available until recently. That's why we launched Only Genie, and because of that, most people just try it and then forget to order again, or are not as loyal to the subscription or to the service. So that was the major challenge, and then pandemic happened, and I guess for Grocer Genie and Gift Genie, the problem is really next is because we are a startup, we're not really heavily funded. The major challenges were in terms of logistics, how we can deliver as fast as we can to many locations outside, even outside Metro Manila. So with the little budget that we have, the bootstrapping ways, we had to open 3 hubs in like 3 months, outside Metro Manila. So it was, I think that was the major challenges that we had, really finding space with the little funding that we have, or little cash flow that we have. So it was really it's a good problem, because that means we needed to grow, right? So those are growing pains. But for e-commerce, it's always like in Alibaba, like what Jack Ma is fond of sharing to his students now. We believe in the iron triangle. So yeah, so medyo iron triangle, because it's on top of e-commerce. On the other, the second angle is fintech or payments, and the third is logistics. And in the center of that iron triangle is data. So all these things are a challenge, because you have to optimize, or you have to sort of find a way to make all these pillars or angles work together seamlessly. And yeah, those are challenges. And but e-commerce is really something that is exciting. So I mean, for geeks like me, especially when I see data, it's fun, and it's a fun challenge for me. So yeah, there are pain points, but as with all businesses, it comes with all these challenges naman.
Thank you, Abby. And thank you to our startup founders for entertaining our attendees' questions. If you have more burning questions after this session, you can email them. For Neptune, it's neptune@easyfulfill.com. And for Abby, it's abby@gogenie.ph. I think they have already sent their email addresses to our chat box, so you can personally ask them through email. Before we end this session, may I invite again Prof. Rene to synthesize and officially close our February Think Right session. Prof. Rene?
Thank you, Mark. And I think the sharing is very inspiring from these two speakers. I was not only listening, I was also learning from this talk. And what I'd like to share right now is my congratulations to these two startups for not only helping the businesses in the Philippines, but also contributing to our economy, which is actually challenged with this crisis. No? Okay, 2 things. One is that these two platforms are not just connecting buyers and sellers. No? If you think that way, no? It goes beyond that. Both startups do address the pain points, the frustration, no? and they have tried to fix that, no? Like the frustration of documentation, as Abby said, hard to find items, how corporate buyers will find wholesalers, etc. So that is part of their what we call value proposition, right? Remove the pain points of either buyer or seller. Then you create a business, right? both ways. It becomes win-win. Actually, it's triple win. Okay, so Abby and Neptune will also win. If buyers and sellers will win. It's triple win. It's not just win-win. So this is a good sustainable business model. Okay, everybody wins. But more interestingly, is they do not just solve the pain point, which is a typical entrepreneurial entry point for business. They create value. No, like for example, Easy Fulfill of Neptune. No, because you found an export market. Now the sellers can now innovate their product. No, it's not just getting over this paperwork of export. No, more the transactional pain point. It's really innovating, looking, like going beyond sugar and going to oil, no, like the pili oil, and that was not possible until Easy Fulfill came over. I think that's the value of these two startups. No? They're able to generate volume for their sellers. It's really helping the sellers. Right? Okay, because those are the most challenged part of this business model. They are small companies, right? They're brand owners. They don't know where to sell. Then they need volume to develop their technology, their quality, their export readiness. I think that's the value of these startups, right? And that's their contribution to the economy, more than solving the pain points of sellers and buyers and exporters. So that's, and I think that two business models are very robust, and they're still relevant. They will be very relevant in this new normal. Okay? In fact, they're striving, they're thriving in this crisis. So it just tells us this is the way to go. This crisis is really opportunity for startups like this, like Genie, GoGenie, and Easy Fulfill. So again, my congratulations to the two entrepreneurs, and I hope you become a role model for other Filipinos. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those seeds of wisdom, Prof. Rene. Before we end, may I call on Rose from AIM DBI to take a photo up together with our moderator and speaker. So may we request our speakers and Prof. Rene and the organizers as well to turn on their camera for our virtual photo opportunity. Rose, over to you.
All right, sorry, unmute. 1, 2, 3. Smile.
Are we done?
Okay.
Thank you very
All
much,
good,
Rose.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you again for taking the lead in our photo op. Before we end, please allow me to plug two things to address your inquiry since January session. To those who are interested to be part of AIM DBI Think Cohort 2022-2023 program, you can check out at AIM DBI through Facebook and Instagram. Again, that's at AIM DBI. You can also send them an email inquiry at aimdbi@aim.edu. Again, that's aimdbi@aim.edu. Please be reminded that the program application opens this April 1, 2022 and closes on April 30, 2022. And for those who want to study and be awarded a formal master's degree in establishing and managing startups, you may apply and enroll to the Master in Innovation and Business program of AIM. Interested applicants may also choose to apply for financial grant in aid. You may contact the email address and mobile number flashed on your screen. Again, we would like to thank all our attendees, speakers, moderator, Prof. Rene. May we all see you again on March 30, Wednesday, same time, for another Think Right session, this time about agriculture, entitled From Land to Plate, Innovating Agriculture Food Sectors. This has been Marian Subion reminding you always to think right. See you again on our next session and have a great evening ahead. Bye, guys. Thank you, everyone.